Chest. Is it working? It's not working.
1, 2, 3.
Is it working? Okay, perfect.
Mic check. Mic check.
Test. Let's start. Any baddies in the house? Jumelang? Do you have any Zulu Sanbonani? Do you have any vendors in da? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Barmeni. Khuyamora? Okay, I think that's as far away my tongue goes. I'd like to greet you all in a powerful pursuit for purpose, potential, and I think in light of where we are today, I'd like to greet you all in a powerful pursuit for, becoming who you want to become, and with all the opportunities that we'd like to have access, in our doorstep. So we're really excited to have you join us today for the 4th edition of the Career Hookup. Are you guys excited to be here? I'm really, I can see that you guys are a full house, and this really speaks a lot to how you're so ready to invest in yourself, into your future, and all the opportunities that you want to unlock. My name is Debachon Patlele. I am your host for today. I'm not riding solo, though. I do have a stellar panel that is joining me of leaders that are amazing, and we are going to be discussing the topic of opportunities for youth. So I'm super excited to be here. Today we're joining you live from Eduvos in Pretoria, but if you're joining us online or in person, we really hope that this session is very impactful for you. And I'm going to be giving away a few vouchers today. So I'm going to be like an Oprah way. I'm like, you get a voucher, everybody gets a voucher. So, so online, please do participate and send through your questions, comments, and maybe you'll be getting yourself an Uber Eats voucher. Who knows? So I think just to kickstart, I'll just give you guys a brief background of, who All4YOUthSSA is, and just the background, of where they come from and what they're all about. So a bit of a background on All4YOUthSSA, the Regional Alliance for Youth in Sub-Saharan Africa, as an extension of the Alliance for Youth SA, which was founded by Nestle in Europe in 2014. The alliance has since been launched in Pacific Alliance countries in 2017 and the Mercosur countries in December 2018. In January 2019, at the World Economic Forum annual meeting in Davos, a global alliance consisting of 20 international companies was launched. To date, several leading companies have joined the alliance in Sub-Saharan Africa, namely ABB, AdCorp Group, Publicis, and Microsoft. All4YOUthSSA's primary goal is to unlock opportunities for youth implement and initiatives that equip young people with essential work skills for the youth, for the future of work. I think it's very important to have organizations like these that really put the youth first. A lot of us have qualifications, but it's a question of, what skills can you upskill yourself in? What opportunities can you unlock and tap into to really fully be the best version of you that you can possibly be? So the Career Hookup has been created as part of the All4Youth SSA to allow you to engage, connect, and ask your burning questions to industry leaders from our panel of guests. And I think it's so rare to have, you know, the CEO come, you know, sit with you guys and give her time to just, you know, speak to you and answer all of your burning questions, and many other leaders that we have today. So without wasting a bit of time, I just want to also just say you can engage with us on social media. So if you're on YouTube, you can just engage with us on the comments. Like I said, I'll be giving away a few vouchers to some of you, if not all of you. I'm not saying all of, but a few of you guys. And please, on social media, we are using All4YOUthSSA. So on the various social media platforms, please try and engage using the hashtag All4YOUthSSA and hashtag Career Hookup, as well as All Access Passport 2, the number 2, to success. So make sure you engage with us and stay tuned for, you know, the conversation that we're going to have. I think it's very exciting, but also very crucial for young people, especially who are still in varsity and really trying to carve their career for themselves. So without wasting any time, it's now my pleasure to allow our panel, including key representatives from our alliance partners, to introduce themselves and really just tell us a bit about the key initiatives and organizations that they're running and how are they benefiting the youth of, you know, South Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa in general. I'll start with Neil on my left.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nell Maja. I'm an HR graduate at ABB, right? ABB is a global multinational organization, right? It focuses on engineering, robotics, automation, electrification, and motion, right? So there are a couple of initiatives that our organization really does. For an example, we have partnered with the Maharishi Institute so that we can develop a robotics lab there. That's how we also give back to the community. And Cynthia is also here. She will just engage on the CSI initiatives that ABB does. And in terms of employment, we have the graduate program, we have the engineering, we have vocation work as well. We have P1 and P2. I'll just mention those programs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I think I'll move on to you.
Good morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me? My name is Prithvi Chetty, and I'm heading up Transformation, Learning and Development, Diversity and Inclusion at Nestlé. I'm sure everybody knows about Nestlé, Eastern South Africa hub. So basically our focus is around South Africa youth, as well as the youth that resides in East Africa as well. Nestlé is an FMCG with more than 120 brands. And I'm sure you guys know, the lovely chocolates and the confectionery items that come out of there. We also have Solar Guard, so a lot of vitamins and a lot of different even makeups that come out of our range. At Nestlé, we are extremely passionate about youth development. We've got a person sitting right here, Comfort, who's responsible for the youth portfolio, and we take it very seriously. By the end of this year, we should be touching the lives of 69,000 youth in Sub-Saharan Africa, in terms of ensuring that we give back to them in terms of what we can offer to them in terms of enhancing their lives, whether it be employment, career opportunities, knowledge, experience, and getting them to actually see light at the end of the tunnel. So there's a variety of different programs that we run. We've got a 2-year graduate program. We've got internships over a 12-month period. We started with the YES program in December last year, where we have created 213 YES roles, a 12-month quality work experience for people, unemployed black people between the ages of 18 to 35 years. So this forms part of the YES entity. And I'm sure everybody knows what the YES entity is all about. It started in 2018, and it was a tripartite alliance between the government, our current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, as well as Dr. Tashmia Ismail, and corporate South Africa, to ensure that we actually look at youth employment, but creating a 12-month quality work experience for unemployed people. So we've hired close to 213 people, and every year we are looking at a similar number. Over and above the YES program, we're also looking at nesternships, which is a smaller contractual program for our youth as well. And the spectrum of youth programs ranges between programs that start off with 3 months to 12 months to 24 months, and we also look at permanent absorption as well. So very proud to be here and representing Nestle in terms of sharing our knowledge and helping you guys with more insight in terms of youth employment.
Thank you so much. And I think I'll just move on to Bruce.
Tebogo, thanks, and good morning, everybody, and what a privilege to be in such a beautiful campus, and thank you for everybody's time. My name is Bruce Tureen. I'm the Managing Director of the Contingent Staffing Division of the AdCorp Group. A little bit about the group: a multi-branded workforce solutions business that has both staffing operations and multiple training operations. Brands that you may be familiar with: Kelly, Quest, DAV, Blue, PMI, Talk IT. Those are all brands of the group. On any given day, we employ, through a multiple of different industry sectors, about 40,000 people, and 80% of those are youth. So this is a very important stakeholder group for our organization. I'm really looking forward to a wonderful morning and engaging with you. Very similar to Prithi, because of the extent of the organization, we have multiple learnership, bursary, internship opportunities that run both within ourselves and within our client base. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to listen to the questions and discussions that come out of this morning. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll move on to Yevgenia, if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Everyone can smile. Don't be so serious. So my name is Ivania Naidu. I'm the Chief People Officer for Publicis Group Africa. We are one of the world's leading media advertising communication agencies that is underpinned by creativity. So I believe, and we believe, that everyone has a creative bone in their body, and it's our responsibility to enhance that, harness it, and give the youth opportunities. So we have presence in more than 110 countries across the globe. Within Africa itself, we have owned offices in South Africa, Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, and in West Africa. We are truly invested and committed to youth development, and I say that from the bottom of my heart. We, as a leadership team of Publicis Group Africa, believe that the youth is our future for the business, for continuity for our clients, and our strategy, when we look at our strategy and planning, we look at the youth development initiatives that we can grow and invest and support the youth of Africa through these programs. So we run very successful programs for youth. We invest in bursaries, so support with your tuitions, whether it's first, second, or third year, if you are studying within the field of media, advertising, creative communication, or production. We then have unemployed internships that we offer, or learnerships, to students. And then we have our flagship graduate program, which we just partnered with the ACA, which is the Advertising Association of South Africa. So it's a 12-month graduate program that's paid, where you get work experience, and you become employable within the organization. So it's the first year that we've launched this year, and we're hoping to triple our numbers by next year. Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today, and looking forward to engaging with you all.
Thank you. Can we give her a round of applause as well? And last but not least, we'll move on to Sigi, just to give us a brief introduction of herself.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Sigi Brownlee, and I'm the CEO of Eduvos. And gosh, what an absolute privilege it is to be here amongst all of you today, and also amongst the esteemed guests. I want to say that every single time, every day when I walk onto a campus, my heart just bursts with joy and pride. And I cannot always stop telling people about how I feel about the youth and about our students. I think truly we have the most magnificent, talented, competent, confident, just wonderful youth in our country. And for me, every single day when I interact with you, it fills me not only with joy, but I learn such amazing things about you. So I really just want to thank all of you for coming as well. Eduvos is a private higher education in South Africa. We've got 12 campuses around South Africa. This year we will have about 16,000 students that join us and that we can serve. And our mission and our purpose is really to shape the potential of our students, student by student, for Africa's prosperity. We completely committed to the continent, we committed to this beautiful country of ours, and most of all, we are committed to you, the youth and the future leaders of our country and of our continent. So this is for you. Hats off to you, and we salute you.
Can we please give our panel a round of applause? I think as each and every one of you is speaking, the words that come into my mind is profit beyond purpose. Purpose beyond profit. Say that again. Purpose beyond profit. I think most companies usually, look at how can we make profit, how can we grow our numbers, our revenue, our return on investment for investors, and not so much about, how can we make purpose and actually, implement change and impact in people's lives in South Africa or across Africa. So I think it's so beautiful just to see the actual implementation of the things that you're doing and the impact work that you're trying to implement in the different spaces that you are in. So I think without wasting any time, thank you so much for the introductions. The first question that I have will just be directed to Neo and Yvania. I think there's a conversation that's been going on X, which is also known as Twitter, that I've been reading about a lot of young people saying that there aren't really necessarily opportunities, that are accessible to them. And, do you think there aren't opportunities accessible to them, or are there opportunities, and how can young people access those opportunities with their alliance partners? Yeah, I think I don't know who would like to start. Okay.
So absolutely, I think there are lots of opportunities. It's firstly, where are you looking? Knowing that these organizations on the panel today are partners with the All4Youth initiative, it's really going into their social media profiles to check what opportunities are available. It's doing your research first and foremost. And secondly, I think it's really aligning your interests to an organization that you want to work for. It's just not looking blanket across and applying for everything. It's really zoning into, I align my values to that organization. Let me put my effort, my energies in researching what is that organization doing, what opportunities are available, how do I contact the talent department, the HR department. If no one's getting back to me, let me physically go to their offices. It's really, if you want it bad enough, you're going to make it happen. So there are opportunities. Don't have that mindset that there isn't because there's so many unemployed youth in the country. No. Make yourself stand out above the rest.
Neil, you can...
Yeah, I can just add to what she said. I think also the importance of networking, right? Whether be it here, be it outside campus, I think it's very vital for one to network and reach out. Also on your LinkedIn, make sure that your LinkedIn account is quite active, because what we normally receive from ABB is that we would get direct messages from students to say, hi Neo, I see that you are a graduate in this organization. Can I reach out to you? I want to do my work. So I do believe that there are a lot of opportunities out there.
Thank you. And then this one would be directed to Bruce and Prithi. We live in the fourth industrial revolution era, where things are constantly changing and technology is really shaping how the world is slowly becoming. When COVID hit, a lot of companies couldn't adapt to the changes, brought forth by all these technologies and stuff, and we could see that by them not being able to adapt and dying. How can young people adapt to the changing, space of work? How can they ensure that the technologies are working for them and not against them? How can they upskill so that they work towards, the future they want to work towards with the changes that are being surrounded by them?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, so definitely we are in the fourth industrial revolution where the focus is more on digitalization, automation, definitely looking at enhanced technology. And, you know, I'm preaching to the converted. With the Gen Zs, we know that everybody is very clued up in terms of technology, digitalization, more in terms of us being in the Generation X era. So I would say use whatever you have to propel yourself into understanding how you can use your competencies in the technology arena, understanding automation, digitalization, your quick savviness around using tools like your cell phone, your laptops, and you guys have what it takes to actually get companies to where it needs to be in terms of digitalization. So when you join a company, for example, you adapt what you've learned into that organization. You say, how can I bring in my, my sense of differentiation into the company? So the trends, the technologies is critical in terms of the way forward in the corporate environments. We are looking at a less paper-based environment, especially with COVID. We're looking at less admin-orientated work. Everything needs to be we're looking at enhanced technologies, and I really believe and I'm passionate about the youth bringing in this new era of working as well. So just continue what you're doing and adapt to the working environment when you do join a company and showcase your abilities in terms of digitalization.
Yeah, and I think to add further, this concept of hybrid and virtual, it is here to stay. And we reference a word, atypical employment. And atypical employment is anything outside of what was historically, I need to go and get a job. It is contract work, it is gig work, it is digital work. There are so many different opportunities that are available. I reference my own two children, my two elder children, they're 23 and 21. They sit in exactly the same space as you do. And I look at how they engage technology. The one, I suppose maybe as an older person, I can share this with you. The technology is critically important, and you have to be on top of it, and you have to have access to it, and you have to be able to work it, but you can't rely on the technology itself, on its own. And I think that was Prithi's point, is that you have to be beyond the technology, that human that you are, and you need to engage, and you need to make sure that your effort is not only defined by the technology. There has to be the human element brought into your world of work at the same time. The last point that I want to share with you from a technology point of view, I mean, I look at my children when I was 21, 22 and going into the world of work. I was considering external markets just to go and try the rest of the world, but everything was limited by passports. We're very proud of our passport. When I talk to my children today, nothing is limited by passport anymore. Technology allows you to work in South Africa for any company you want to. So don't limit what your thinking is to what's available, in your immediate surrounds. You can work for whoever you want in South Africa, and there's a pile of technology that supports how you paid, how you contracted to keep it all compliant and legitimate. So those are the opportunities that are available. Thanks very much.
I think just to add on to that question, I think we such a buzzword, but we're not really sure what kind of technology. So I'd like to just ask, what emerging trends and technologies are you seeing shape the future of work? Like specifically, maybe just a few examples, just so that they get a picture of what's out there.
So previously, So previously, if you had to look at young graduates or interns or people looking at junior management roles, entry-level positions into the organization, people would come in and do a lot of admin work. You'll have a whole pile of work on your desk, and you basically will process this through pure administration. In today's day and age, example, the learning and development arena, there's something called the learning management system, which is an automated that allows employees to actually apply for their training courses. They can see whether the training courses have been approved. Their training courses are linked to their PDPs, which is their personal development plans, and it covers the full spectrum of an employee life cycle as well. So that's just one of the examples of of technology. You know, AI artificial intelligence is also something that's quite critical, where we are looking at bringing, reducing automation in the workplace and bringing on different facets of artificial intelligence spectrums as well. So the trend is definitely here to stay. I would think that the future is that technologies and trends, especially in automation, digitalization, even using project management. One of the things that Bruce spoke about was that we're looking at automation together with the softer side of people, like networking, showcasing your abilities through technology. But there's also other competencies that's required to actually get you to where you need to be in terms of showcasing different technologies and different AI tools as well.
Thank you. Oh, it's working. Thank you, technology. I don't know if anybody else would like to add on to that, about any emerging trends and technologies that we're seeing that are shaping the future of work. Are you happy? Are you happy with the response? You're happy? Okay. I think with just talking about the different technical skills that we need to adapt to these changes, we often neglect the soft skills. You know, the soft skills aspect of it, which makes you a holistic professional, I think, in the real workplace. So what are some of the, soft skills that one could implement in the workplace, and just to ensure that they're also balancing the technical qualifications and skills with that in order for them to be a holistic professional? I think maybe Yuvenia could take this.
Absolutely. So I think, based on my experience and the work that we're doing, the biggest barrier that exists with youth entering the workplace is their headspace. And I say that because the biggest limitation is within ourselves to achieve what we want to achieve. So a lot of work that we're doing to educate and train is around mental health and well-being. Before you can give to others, you need to give to yourself. How do you strengthen your mind? It's super important. So whether you're religious or spiritual, etc., practicing mindfulness helps you focus, be present. It's a key and important quality to show up in the workplace, and if you want to be seen. So I would say make sure that you're investing in yourself on a daily basis to make sure no matter what your circumstances are, do not be a victim of it. Show up the way you want to be seen. Take care, have goals, right? But make sure your goals are realistic. So when you're entering an organization, applying for a job, those goals has to be realistic, so you manage your own expectations at the speed that you want to grow. Be open to learn. I say this because it's so important when we look at our, applications, interviews, etc. Everyone is ambitious, which is fantastic. But within that ambition, have smaller goals that you set yourself, and be willing to put in the effort. I come from a generation where, what you put in is what you get out, and I truly believe that. So hard work is not going to hurt you, but it's working smart. It's networking. It's making sure that you're using every opportunity at your disposal. Surround yourself with positive people that's going to give you positive energy, and not fall into a negative space where you think, I'm never going to find a job, or never going to get this opportunity. So, just to summarize, I think invest in yourself. It's so important. It's not going to cost you anything, but make sure every day you show up in whatever you're doing, and you're doing it with 100% attitude and commitment.
Thank you for that. Can you get a round of applause? Are people online still engaging? If you have any questions or comments, please do engage with us. Again, social media platforms, tell us what you're thinking, and if you're enjoying this conversation. I always say that, and this will be directed to Sigi. I don't know if you wanted to add anything to. Okay, you can.
I did. Thanks so much. Really what I wanted to say is that I cannot agree with you more. This whole holistic learning of a student is absolutely imperative to us here at Eduvos, and we place an enormous amount of emphasis on employee and student wellness. And I really just encourage the students that are here today to really participate in these programs, because they're completely designed for you to enhance your learning. I think something else that a lot of private or a lot of learning institutions have adopted is sort of an inverted and a flipped classroom approach to exactly this point about soft skills. And it's about saying these days the basics of learning you can do at home. You can learn things through so many different channels and different ways. But when you're coming to classes, it's about utilizing those soft skills like collaboration, like problem solving, like networking with others, like dealing and collaborating with others, which often doesn't happen because people get immersed on their cell phones, and it might be that you're connected to 1,000 people, but you actually don't know how to communicate to those 1,000 people when you get together in different spaces. So I cannot agree with you more. It's about those soft skills, but it's also about your holistic development, and that's really, really important.
I really love that, and I to touch on what you just said, I always say that you cannot reach your dreams in isolation. You need a community, you need collaboration, you need networking, you need people around you. So don't always be immersed in your technology. You know, there's also a world outside of that technology. That technology is there to help you enhance, you know, whatever that you're trying to implement. So thank you so much for that. I think just to touch on the next question, which I'll direct to you, See, is that I always say it's so important for you to start building your CV from the very first day of varsity, and not the day you're starting to apply for a job. You know, those small, I always say purpose is the small intentional steps you take to where you want to be. It's not a destination where you just arrive. It's the small intentional steps and work that you do along the way. So Tusigi, how can a graduate who's still a student, or someone who's already graduated, maybe with the undergrad, how can they make sure that they're employable, you know, in the workspace right now?
It's probably, first of all, inevitable that I'm going to say this, and you're probably not going to like it, but the first thing is you have to focus on your studies. So at the end of the day, really, if you're an employer, you're not going to want to see somebody or employ somebody that's got the lowest marks or that's just scraped through things. So the first is just understand that it's not about marks, but it's about the knowledge and the skill that you are learning as part of that qualification. So when you're leaving here, it really means that you have a good knowledge from a technical perspective and the skills that you need to apply in terms of going into a career. So that's point number one. The second thing is, I think we've touched on it, but it's important to immerse yourself in as many different activities and different opportunities as possible whilst you are at varsity. And the reason is that a lot of learning happens from an academic perspective, but actually the most learning happens outside of the classroom. And it is through immersing yourself in different clubs, different societies, where you are learning about people, you're learning about participation, you're learning about what it takes to lead people, etc. So that's really, really important. Over and above that, I think we've spoken about the importance of networking and making sure at the end of the day that you have a LinkedIn profile, that you're connecting with high-profile people that you see as role models, and you're following them on LinkedIn to learn and to see how they do things and the way that they present themselves, etc. And that links me as well to my next point. I think it's really important to have a great role model. And a role model doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a captain of industry. It can be a relative or somebody that you really look up to, that's done well in the work environment, that conducts themselves professionally in the work environment, and that can help you to show you the way on how to prepare your CV, how to conduct yourself when you go into an environment, etc. So I think that's really, really important. And then if you're here at Eduvos, naturally as well, to attend all our work readiness programs, to attend all our employability programs. We really have the greatest intent of helping you craft a proper CV, helping you role profile and role play different interview scenarios. And we do a lot as well to connect with different wonderful industries, even those that are here today, with finding different opportunities as well. And then the last thing I want to just touch on is social media. And I know we've said the importance of being in social media, but just be very mindful of the brand that you are showing out there about yourself. So very often we see the youth putting things on to social media, and people say that once it's in the cloud, it can't be erased. So it's really important that whatever photographs you're putting on there, whatever you're responding to, the way you respond to things, often in social media it's a way to, to really reach out and to say things that you wouldn't normally say to someone face to face. But that's not the way to look at it. So be careful about that, because before people employ you, often they have a look at your social profile and say, gosh, what does this person do? Let me have a look at how they conduct themselves externally as well. So all I'm just saying is be a little cautious to that as well. But it's about holistic learning. It's not just the academic side of things.
I love that. Can you give her a round of applause? So maybe before you tweet that tweet, like think about what impact does it have on my future? As little as it may seem, but in the future, in the near future, it really will have a major impact on how your future employer looks at you, or whoever. You never know who's watching. You never know where your next opportunity comes from. Just always ensure that you're ready, and always ensure that you're intentional in the spaces that you find yourself in. I think before I move on to our panel again, I would like to take any maybe 2 questions from the floor. Is there anyone who'd like? Remember, guys, Uber Eats. Do you have any questions? I think the guy in the navy blue, it's you. I don't know if there's a mic that can go to him or... Okay. Maybe the people online would also like to see him. I don't know if the camera is faced this way. Okay.
Hi. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, thank you. My question is actually for Peruse. I saw on your company's website at AdCorp Group the Just Transition Statement. By the vision and invitation statement, you guys said you envision being a catalyst for positive change in the labor market. So you want to work towards a sustainable future and fair labor market. How exactly do you guys intend on doing that?
Yeah, so thanks, good question. Thanks very much. By and large, AdCorp and multiple of its brands is a flexible staffing business, and we see ourselves as the initial conduit in many instances and gateway to much longer term employment for multiple people in different industries. So that just transition is effectively our opportunity to provide that entrance and initial conduit for people to enter the workplace and to progress in their careers from there. So that's part of that statement as you have raised in your question.
Okay, there's someone else that actually wants to be a catalyst too, Periti. I saw on the website you had 6 leadership tips, and then one of them, give me a second.
He came prepared, guys. He deserves the voucher, if not all of them.
So you said you want to be a catalyst to enable people to perform optimally, and your equation was opportunities plus hard work equals success. But what if there aren't any opportunities for me? How do I get that success?
As a graduate 24 years ago, and I'm giving my age away, I was in a situation where I was a graduate looking for a job as well. So I knew the struggle. Struggle was real. Very difficult to get your CV out there and to be noticed. So one of the things that I actually learned in my early 20s was as soon as you get an opportunity, grab it and work really, really hard. Optimize that opportunity, make it the best, and showcase your behavioral, your technical understanding of the role, and how you can bring the best version of yourself to that role as well. And that automatically would give you success. But on the latter part of your question, if there is no opportunity available, look for other kinds of opportunity. It doesn't have to be contractual or permanent work. Look for voluntary work. So for example, if you're currently unemployed, look at what your other passions are.
Do you like animals, or do you like arts, or do you like DJing, for example? Would you like to look at those passions and create your own business? So a lot of the time, our youth is looking at the formal sector. In South Africa, we've got the formal sector and the informal sector. The formal sector consists of your JSE-listed companies, as well as your CIPC companies, which are your multinational companies. There's a certain threshold of vacancies or headcount that lies within each company. Like at Nestle, we've got 2,922 permanent positions. And obviously, there would be a threshold in terms of the opportunity to bring in new people. So if the opportunities are not in existence, think outside the box. Look at the informal sector. Look at entrepreneurship. And it's difficult, but if you showcase your talent, if you want to look at hairdressing or some other kind of practical passion that you have, grow it into a small business until such time that you have an opportunity that exists in the formal sector. But that's the way that we need to relook at things in South Africa. Too much of the time we're looking at, yes, we do look at higher institutions like Eduvos, for example, but we also need to look at more practical examples of how I can create employment for myself. And I think that's the way the future is heading, where we have to start thinking outside the box. We need to, as youth, we have the largest youth population in the world globally. So the skill set, whether it's going to be in the formal and informal sector in the future, is going to come from Africa. And that's why it's up to us to actually try to get as much skills as possible. And I know it's difficult. I know sometimes the market is tight. I know you get frustrated, but you need to persevere until you find something as well. And if you don't find something, try not to be complacent. Try to find something that will keep your mind occupied, and don't give up, because there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel.
Thank you. I'll take one more, and then we'll move on to questions online. You guys are making it so difficult for me. The lady, I think we'll take one from a lady. The lady in the black, at the back, yeah. And also, can our panel also just keep the answers a bit short so that we can go get through all of the questions? But they're very informative, so thank you so much for the answers. Yeah.
Hi, guys. Is it working? Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay. My question is directed to Ms. Chetty. You mentioned that the future is AI and technology, and that's the way to the future, right? So where does that place the learners who are more into the legal and theory aspects of job opportunities?
Thanks for the question. This mic is not working. So with every individual, that individual has the ability to bring to the fore behavioral competencies, technical competencies like you would have in legal, and technology competencies. So if you look at an employee life cycle, those are the different types of competencies that a legal person would have, for example. So doing your LLB, for example, you would have a 4-year qualification, understanding the legal domain in South Africa and globally. So you would have that technical understanding, that understanding of labor law, etc. However, you can also, in the legal department, still bring automation, digitalization, the number of cases, for example, look at an automated system in terms of tracking on that. So, nothing is ever cast in stone. AI, technology is just one component of what you need in order to succeed. Soft skills, behavioral skills, technical understanding, all those competencies add up to you being successful.
Okay, sorry, one last question. And where would you place that type of automation in your international arena space or your international politics? What if you want to venture into being a diplomat or being into foreign policy? Where would you even go? Where would you even direct yourself to?
I think, first of all, you need to start with self. Although your career aspirations are quite high, I think start off small, think small. Rome wasn't built in a day. Bite this elephant chunk by chunk. I love your optimism. And then once you get a bit of work experience, then start looking at the global arena and start networking. The world has shrunk through technology. So have a look at LinkedIn and other sites where you can actually network and navigate globally with similar practitioners in other countries as well.
I wanted to add to your point on AI and automation and how it disrupts maybe the processes or the studies that you want to take. And it's very important. The business that I work for is different to everybody's businesses sitting around this table and anybody else's. And I say this to the teams of people that we have in our organization at the moment. We use AI to find process efficiency, to do comparisons as an example. But what I want as an outcome from the individual is the application of their mind to that problem relevant to my business. So one thing I'm very conscious about, and I think Siggy referenced it in respect of holistic education, do not default to a position where you believe that AI and its use is the answer that you're going to give your employer. Your employer wants you to use AI, but it wants you to apply your mind to that situation relevant to the value proposition and the success of that particular business. So it's a very important point, and I think Siggy articulates it well in terms of a holistic education. It is not just about the process, it is about the application of your mind to the problem. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and I truly agree with that. I think let's move on to the online questions. I'll take two. There's one that says, Priscilla online says, is there any interview tips the panel can share? Yeah. I think maybe one from each, like quick one, just to, yeah.
Okay, for me, is that you would, is it working? Is it not working? Is that not working? Speak. Okay, for me, it would be you need to research the organization that you will be interviewed at, right? You also need to understand the type of program that you are currently going to be interviewed for. For an example, if it says HR and then there was like a job description, you also need to know and understand that. Thank you.
I think have a look at the job spec. The job spec during your interview is very important. So you need to understand the intricacies of the role, the competencies there, what the interviewer is looking at, and also align your profile as a person to that job spec. And be very forthcoming in terms of your strengths and your areas of improvement as well.
Just a basic, if it's going to be an online interview, be on time, be familiar with the technology, understand if you're going to share something, how to share that presentation. There's nothing worse than sitting in an interview and a person is unprepared with the technology itself, and it creates a negative shadow. So just be familiar with that technology platform, on which you're going to undertake that interview.
Two things for me. So absolutely be punctual. It's super important. Also how you show up. Don't be chewing gum as you in an interview, whether it's online or in person. It happens, right? Because we want to be ourselves. So naturally, but it's how you're representing yourself. And then secondly, it's prepare. So I honestly believe that preparation is a performance enhancer. So make sure that you prepare. You just don't walk in thinking I'm just going to wing this, right? No, prepare, do your research, and show up in the right way.
And then I think lastly as well is think about how you're unique, what it is that you bring to that particular role that others won't bring to the role, and why you should be the person to get the role. Yes. So think about that and be confident about it.
I love that. So I think the questions always have, how are you standing out? Like what's keeping you different from the next person? You all graduates doing the same degree, probably the same marks. Why should they hire you? Yeah. That whole thing of start building your CV from the first day you walked in here. Keep yourself, different from everybody else. Thank you so much for that. One more question from online. Someone was asking Neo, when you are applying for graduate programs, what are the, was like your marks like a big factor? Is that something that recruiters are looking into, or yeah, what is your experience?
I don't really think marks are a big factor.
No, you can't say that.
That was a joke, but then obviously you need to have an average of 65 and above, right? Make sure that you get good grades as well. Also, I think I forgot the question again.
So are marks a big factor when you're applying for graduate programs, essentially? Yeah.
Yes, they are.
It'll be your marks, it'll be your answers to questions, and whether you're on the right path in terms of answering those in relation to the job. It's also about how you conduct yourself, whether you conduct yourself with the level of professionalism, and whether you fit into the potential of whether you fit into the company culture, which is important. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. So I also agree, marks are a big factor. Like I said, marks are always a given. Like you should be performing well, but then the question of what else are you bringing to the table, you know? Just always think about that. What else are you bringing to the table besides the marks? Because imagine if you're getting 50 and there's someone who's with a 70, obviously the first person they'll go to is the one with the 70. And then we'll start looking into, oh, okay, she's good with public speaking, or she's a strategic thinker, you know, things like that. So yeah, marks are important. Stay in school and do well. The next question, I think I'll direct it to Sigi and Bruce. Why are there often stumbling blocks in accessing opportunities? And how does All4Youth and your organization seek to alleviate these barriers?
Okay, I'll jump in. So I think the stumbling blocks are around understanding how you access the markets. Our collective participation, all of us in this room, is a step in the right direction, because this hopefully is going to give you some insights as to how you access the market. So there's a lot of work that you need to do yourself to really understand where those opportunities lie. You cannot rely solely on other people to try and direct your own efforts. I can share with you that Corporate South Africa has a legislative framework that supports the engagement of youth. But how do you access that particular corporate, you know, to find benefit for yourself in the opportunities that are available? So I think participation in events like this, participation in the websites of corporates, understanding that legislative framework. What are those time frames? When do learnerships become available? When do bursaries become available? We know that corporates have financial year ends. Their next period for supporting internships and the development of youth comes up at different stages. I think people need to become familiar with that to be able to access the opportunities. Additionally, as a last point, again, old school, love receiving emails, love receiving multiple sort of contact on various social media programs, but most love receiving a phone call and meeting someone and talking to them and understanding who that human is. So don't forget that human element piece, please. Thanks.
I think there's some very real, stumbling blocks. I mean, first of all, the unemployment rate in South Africa is really high, so I think that's an issue. Second of all, I think a lot of companies and a lot of job adverts specify that they want experience, and you want to say, well, hang on a second, if I'm just graduating, how do I get that experience in the first place? I think we've alluded to the fact that it's often about sort of the psychosocial side with regards to confidence, doing the research, really understanding yourself and equipping yourself accordingly. And then a lot of people don't have links to industry and don't have links to somebody that they know that might be able to help them get into the job market. So and I don't want to really labour this a lot because a lot of these are our students, but certainly at Eduvos, employability is really important to us. So we do a lot of links with different industries. We have bursary opportunities as well, linked again to corporates that help us in that regard and wanting to build their pipeline for graduates as well. We have career fairs. We have lots of workshops on how to put your CV together and how to conduct yourself in interviews. So there's really a lot that we do as a very important part.
No? Oh, we're back. Thank you so much for that, and I truly, truly agree with that. I think the following question will just be to Neo, Prithi, as well as Bruce. So what are the graduate programs, internships, learnership programs that you guys have in place, and what are the requirements and when are these opportunities made available? I hope you guys are taking notes. This is where you write when application dates are opening and yeah.
Okay, I'll start. So at Nestle, we are extremely passionate about the youth, as I mentioned, and we've got different programs available. Our internship and our graduate program will be kicked off again at the end of this year, but recruitment for that will start around November, December this year as well. The roles will be advertised in our career portal as well as on LinkedIn as well. We also have the YES program, which I'm quite passionate about, and the YES program from a South African standpoint was to create 1 million jobs in the first couple of years, because in South Africa we've got 60 million people. Out of the 60 million, 7.7 million are youth, and 6.6 million are currently unemployed. So providing youth with a 12-month quality work experience, and that starts, can I borrow your mic?
And our recruitment for the YES program would start around August, September, October this year. So everything would be on the career portal, where we would have links going to the career portal for the internship program, for the graduate program, for the YES program, and so forth. A large portion of those programs, we do look at absorption, permanent and contractual hire into the organization based on the criticality of the roles, as well as the performance of the individual as well. Okay.
Yeah, thanks. And AdCorp's financial year end, as an example, is February. So we understand, as at the 1st of March, what we're trying to spend from a skills development and youth engagement point of view in the subsequent financial year, effectively from the 1st of March. I mean, I'm fortunate our transformation manager is with us today, and that is her area of expertise and accountability, but on an ongoing basis in two specific streams. So we have our client base, and in that client base, we're running both what we call funded and unfunded learnership. So opportunities funded by our clients, and there's multiple of those opportunities I want to share with everyone too, and I've seen hundreds of stories like this. People accepting roles in the first instance that maybe is not their ideal learning opportunity or their ideal specific vacancy, but progressing very quickly through attitude and aptitude, through the different corporate vehicles that they can. And it's important that you open yourself up to those opportunities. And then with our own organization itself, we have multiple bursaries, multiple internships, and they happen generally from sort of March to August. Those are the periods in which we recruit and employ and ultimately deploy into our organization. So yeah, you're still within that window for this current financial year, running up through till about the end of August. We would have deployed our last learners, interns, bursaries. Thanks.
With us, ABB, our intake is normally in September, August, but we run the advert for the entire year. So whenever we get managers' request, then we are able to pull your CV from our portal. So your CV can be in our portal for a year. After a year, then it lapses, then you would need to reapply, right? So we have the graduate program, which focuses on the business support for example, your HR, your finance. Just to mention a few, we have the engineering program as well. In our engineering program, we also have a global trainee exchange where you will be, after a year, because it runs for 2 years, after a year, then you can be, you can go to the ABB in Zurich, because it's a global trainee program as well as for finance. We also have vacation work. For an example, you need skills, right? Then you can just write to us in the HR department to say, we need to do work. How can we apply? Yeah, and then we also have the P1 and P2, that is for your national diploma in terms of your electrical and mechanical. And yeah, I think I've covered most of the things, yeah. And then obviously it's through LinkedIn, right? And there is also Binelo Sarakwani. She is our talent intern. So you can also link up with her because she does most of our advertisement for the graduates. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to also just bring Yuvenya into the conversation. How do you, the graduates, and how do you, with your internships, what requirements do you guys have for them? And also, if people with no prior experience, you know, how can they still get the roles without really having 10 years of work experience or the 5 years of work experience that we commonly see in applications? Yeah.
So I mentioned, I think earlier, we have unemployed learnerships and their planning, etc. So it's really within the media, advertising, and communication space. So unemployed learnerships is the one aspect where you just need to have a matric and an interest in pursuing a career within the industry itself. The graduate program is a graduate program, so it's really focused on, you know, you obviously completing your degree or qualification within the media, advertising, communication space, creative space, and that we then, you know, target certain educational institutions where we would advertise opportunities. We would run open days to communicate the program, select students. All of this happens during our financial year. So currently we have programs that are running, and we'll see programs through till the first quarter of next year, but we'll start the application process towards October, November, December. So most career sites, you will find the roles that will become available. So look out for those, including LinkedIn, BRISC Community, our social media pages, and see which opportunity is relevant for you. Like it was mentioned, if you're unsure of a career within media, advertising, communication, do your research. It's really a very fulfilling career. So even though you may have an existing qualification but want to explore, because there's lots of opportunities, be open to understand what does that mean for you, because you can become employable. We see a huge skills gap in the market with talent pursuing a career in this field, and it can be very rewarding. So just do your research, look out on the website, engage with us as a team. Our offices are in Bryanston, in Johannesburg. Come through, set up a meeting, happy to engage and share as much information as possible.
Thank you. Can we give her a round of applause so far? Quick one, before I ask a question back to our panel. Who can remember all the 3 hashtags for the day? I'm giving you a voucher. All 3. No, you have to remember all 3, guys. At least 2. Who remembers 2? The lady, is it a lady, guy? Okay, lady? A mic is coming to you, just quick.
Hashtag All4Youth and hashtag career hookup. Can you hear me? Hashtag All4Youth and hashtag career hookup.
I'm not happy with the first hashtag. I'll give you half a mark. Who can correct the first hashtag? There's one there at the corner. You guys can share the voucher, ne? The other gets the chips and the other gets the chicken. Wait, is this from your notes or is this from Googling?
From my notes.
Okay, okay. I'll take that.
Yeah. So you said it was all access, passport 2 with the number 2, success, exclamation mark, I think.
Okay.
And then the other one was hashtag career hookup, yeah. And then the other one was hashtag youth employment or hashtag all4youth, one of the 2.
I don't remember saying hashtag youth employment, but I'll give you for 2 and I'll give you for trying 1. Can someone give me the first one where it has All4Youth? What is after All4Youth? Can someone tell me what SSA stands for? And why is it there? Because because they thought let's just give it a surname, right? Okay, I'll give you the 2 ladies. You guys, I owe you guys a voucher. Online, I hope you guys are engaging. I'm going to check who's been posting the most, and you'll also get a something. So please do engage with us on social medias, different social media platforms. We are All for Youth SSA, double SA, right? Not just Sub-Saharan Africa, right? Now to just come back. I don't know if I'm a bit too loud or is it fine? Is it fine? Okay. Just to come back to our panel, one question, I think this can be to anyone really who'd like to respond. Please discuss the best practices to access and benefits from job shadowing or practical work exposure to enhance skills and career pathways for success.
Okay, so we really understand that it's not just about the theory and that the practical side of learning is absolutely imperative. And it really helps you to, as a graduate, to assimilate into an organization more quickly. So what we've built in is work integrated learning, and we've built that into all of our exit level programs where people and our students are required to go and find opportunities for their vacation work. So I think the first thing is that before you go in, you need to have done a little bit of research on the organization that is kindly going to be looking after you over those weeks. Second of all, I think we've spoken about image. It's really important. Dress professionally, look eager, be prepared, have questions that you want to ask, and already have some objectives for the week. So it's almost as if you don't want to arrive and somebody says, well, what do you want to learn? You say, I don't know. I mean, it really is about saying, these are the things that I want to better understand, and this is what I'm hoping to get out of the week, and we're hoping that we'll be able to structure something around that. So I think that's really important. And it's about actively engaging during that experience, working hard, being there, showing diligence, showing that you're enthusiastic, even if it isn't great, make it look as if it's fantastic and make it look as if it's great. So many people get employed by the fact that they made a great impression when they did that VAC work. And people say, wow, there was such a joy and a pleasure to have around, and as a result, we'd love to put you into the graduate program or whatever the case may be. As I always tell the students, remember, it's all about gratitude. So do be sure that at the end you document your learnings, that you write a personal note to thank the organization for having you for that week, and over and above that, that you keep in contact with them on an ongoing basis thereafter. And really afterwards reflect about, what did I learn this week, and what was the difference that first of all I made to the organization, the colleagues, etc., but over and above that, what is the difference that I learned that I'm able to take forward into the organization that's going to employ me. So those would be my tips.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to add on to that? The panel, yeah.
Be curious. And I say that because when you're curious, you're open to learn more. So in that experience, ask questions. It's so important to ask questions. Like, don't be afraid. There's no question that's too small or too big. Ask questions shows your interest. It shows you want to learn. It shows you want to engage. And network. Like, don't be shy. I know we're all shy when it comes to meeting new people, but put yourself out there. Hey, I'm so-and-so. Who are you? Go and sit and have lunch with somebody. Connect. It's so important because your network is your net worth. And this is something you'll carry on from now till however long your career is. It's the people that you know, that you surround yourself with, that's going to elevate you, support you. Ask for someone to mentor you. Don't be shy. Someone can say no, but someone else is going to say yes. These are important things to show up, not just about doing the job and doing it really well. It's about all those other aspects we're speaking about. So, as an employer, and, I do recruitment on a daily basis, these are the things I look for. And I value, because it's so important, because that's how you're going to set yourself apart. But do it authentically. Don't do it because you are forced to do it or you're desperate to do it. Do it because it resonates and comes from within yourself, and you will be rewarded for that.
Just to add on that, if I may, I think I got a problem with mics today. One of the most important things before we do all of that is to understand the makeup of any organization. So understand when you go into a company for the first time, understand the org chart.
who the executives are, who the senior managers are, which people reside in which departments. For you to do your job more effectively, who do I need to partner with at a specific department? That's very important, because that would be a prerequisite in terms of your networking, your mentoring, and your learning journey as well.
I think maybe also just to add on to that is also how you apply yourself and extend yourself within the organization. If you are doing a VEC work and there are a couple of projects running and you can honestly raise up your hand and say, can I be involved? And that's how you get to extend some of your networks and skills that you didn't even have when you started. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really love that. And your network is your network. I really, really love that. And like I said, you cannot achieve your dreams in isolation. You need a community of people, you know, whether it be mentors, it could be friends, peers who are aligned with the vision and the goals. Again, I always say, you know, the top 5 of your friends, those show who and what you want to become in life. You know, the conversations you guys have in your circle of group of friends, you know, just evaluate on that. What are you guys talking about? You know, what are you intentionally aligning yourself towards in your future? So before, I have an exciting announcement. I don't know if I said this in the beginning. I have such an exciting announcement, but I'll say this in the end. Right now, I'd like to just engage with you guys a bit more. So if you have more questions from from the room and a bit from online, I'll take 2 for now in the room. Sure, guys. I'd like you to pick. Yeah, because now they're putting me under pressure and they'll be like, vouchers. Now everyone's going to be... Okay.
Hello. This is a question for anybody who would like to answer. Okay. I want to know when, in reality, are qualifications or are the skills and experience more important than qualifications? Like, if somebody were to come, or 2 people were to come, where one had like a PhD or maybe a master's and all that, and another had to come with experience and the skills that are required for the job, who would you choose between the skills and the qualifications?
Gee, that's such an important question.
I can answer on that. So I think what's really important is understanding the nature of the role. If your job spec says a PhD is required and that's a minimum requirement, then that's what the position is needing. However, most of the time, especially when it comes to entry-level positions, we don't need a master's or a PhD. An undergraduate qualification is the minimum qualification required. So in most cases, that's it. And that qualification is linked to the role. So you would find matriculants going into corporate environments that, you know, that have on-the-job learning. And 70% of your learnings you'll see in the next 30, 40 years of your life would be on the job. But your qualification, if you do have a qualification, it propels you a bit further. It shows the organization that you've got the potential to do a particular job. So you can actually get into a company based on having a matriculant or an undergraduate qualification. The robustness in terms of your career evolution would depend on you, but it's also to a large degree what the organization is needing. Do they need somebody that has a matriculant or an undergraduate qualification? The world is changing. We are definitely in a human-centric position now where it's not only about academics, it's also the human approach to life, and whatever you bring in from a behavioral standpoint is equally important as well.
Okay, a follow-up question. As a student, besides vacay work, what other skill can I acquire, and where can I go to like have more skills? Like during my holidays, where I'd be like, no, I actually want to go work, and I actually want to go job shadowing and all that. Where do I go, and who do I approach when I actually enter the building? Where do I go to? Do I go to the HR part of the work? Or do I, like, where do I actually find this information, and who do I actually talk to about all this?
Okay, at Nestle, we do have a career portal. Job sharing vacation work is something that we are looking at for the future. So the career portal lists our service offerings. And I think your first part of call would be uploading your CV and getting in touch with the relevant person that's stipulated on the career portal. It's very important for you to do that. Or if you're passionate about an organization, or if you're wanting to go in and just do a bit of cold calling, knocking on the door and speaking to the HR department, I think that would be a good opportunity as well. But at the end of the day, you know, your hunger behind getting that vocational work and job shadowing is up to you. And I'm sure if you're hungry enough, then you'll be able to get what you need.
Thank you very much.
I want to make just a practical observation. Many young people who enter our organization have got a qualification. They are looking to do some sort of, you know, entry-level work. But a gap that I see is a gap from a technology point of view. And I'm not talking about social media platforms. I'm talking about Excel. So if I was to give anyone advice, entering any environment, if you find yourself with spare time to improve your Excel skills, it is utilized across, and then it becomes something else as you engage with an organization's own systems, etc. But Excel is definitively a gap that I find coming from educational sort of institutions into the workplace. Immediately that you're there, someone's going to ask you to put that data onto a table, and it's going to ask you to pivot it and to put it into a pretty shape or whatever it might be. In the absence of Excel skills, you're going to stumble around that. So that would be a practical tip. Thanks.
Add on to.
Yeah. If I can just add, I do a lot of mentorship, and All4Youth offers mentorship, which is really fantastic. And one of my mentees, we are engaging about how do I build great communication skills and leadership skills, but I don't have a job. And I'm like, you need to think out of the box. You can do this in your community. You can do this volunteering. That doesn't mean it's a volunteer job and you're not getting paid. You can't build communication skills. There's nothing to learn. So really make sure that every opportunity that presents itself to you, you gain maximum value out of it. So whether it's your local community outreach program, your religious place that you go to worship, there's so many opportunities out there to start building communication skills, leadership skills. So don't overlook those. It's not only about job shadowing and vacation work. Just think broader, think outside the box to get that exposure as well.
Thank you. I really like that, and I think just to add on to that with regards to Excel, when I started working, I also just realized literally most of the day you're using Excel or a bit of PowerPoint. So it's very important to get those skills under your belt. So the easiest way, quickest way also could be on LinkedIn. There's free, courses that you can take. Platforms like Udemy, and there's many other different platforms where you can just do a free, quick Excel, depending on the level of the skill that you want to learn. And there's you spoke about technology in the sense of skill sets, right? There's also free courses on the introduction to computer science, for instance. You don't need to be in tech to know how to code. These are other crucial skills that, when they look at your CV and they're like, okay, she's applying for a job in HR, but she has a bit of like coding experience, and like, oh, she stands out, So those are things you can start learning. You can actually do a free course by Harvard for free. You don't have to go to Harvard. Online, it's free. So imagine having an Ivy League thing on your CV where you're just doing a free course, and it's also just helping you gain a skill set for free, accessible to everyone. So those are things that you can start looking into and researching online. I'll also just move on to the hand at the back. You can.
Hi, ma'am. Can you guys hear me? Ma'am, I have one question and one suggestion. So my first question is, in passing, you mentioned that if we want to actually get the job, we need to speak to someone within the organization. But now, the platforms most of these companies have, it's like a website where you just apply to. And currently, I'm a second-year student I started a business, right? And I'm trying to get hold of someone in management in the CSG company, the one running the canteen. But I'm going back and forth with the website. So can you guys maybe give us a point as to how do we get hold of like emails for stakeholders and people of importance who will look at our email and be like, okay, this is a good opportunity, let's give them a shot, rather than us going back and forth with websites. And then my suggestion is the companies do have job opportunities, and Eduvos has skills and employment programs. So why don't the companies work and collaborate with Eduvos and say that, listen here, in this program, if you complete this course within 6 months, these companies have 15 job positions open. We, as Eduvos, as the school, will give you security that you can get a job in these few companies. Example, Mem was mentioning Nestle hires so many people per year. Why doesn't Eduvos say, from our students, we will guarantee 20 job opportunities from Nestle, and that will make it easier for us to, it will give us, first of all, the push we need to actually take part in these programs, because uni is time consuming and demanding. Now, for you to go out of your way to do something that has no certainty or no guarantee, I don't think that's fair. But now, if Eduvos and these companies collaborate, that would give everyone the push and the engagement Eduvos does need, because for us to do the work.
So really just to say from an Eduvos perspective, I mean, as I said to you, employability is top of mind for us. At the end of the day, we understand that the majority of students really do study because they want that security with regards to getting an income, etc., etc. And as a result, we're in constant contact with industries to ensure that our programs are relevant and that they are future fit and those skills are built into the programs. Just also remember that on our website, we have many, many connections with industry, and we have always a list of jobs and vacancies that are there. We now have a new graduate program and platform as well that we have just been introduced for all our alumni. And again, and it's actually in conjunction with Stellenbosch University, where they're liaising with corporates all around South Africa and globally, and different jobs are always posted on there as well. So I don't think anything is about being guaranteed. At the end of the day, as an academic institution, as most higher education institutions, we try and connect with as many industries as possible to give opportunities to our students. And I think we've spoken about, how to go about and to connect with these industries accordingly. I don't think anything is about being guaranteed. Just remember, organizations don't just work with Eduvos, they work with many, many higher education institutions, and they're going to take the person that is best fitted to that particular role at that organization. But yeah.
Sure, absolutely. Can you hear me? Oh, sorry. Thank you. I absolutely love your response, and I think the other thing that I need you guys to also remember now, when you're about to leave varsity, is that your life is literally in your hands. In as much as institutions can provide you with these opportunities and all these things on their platforms, it's really up to you to take initiative to actually reach out to those companies and actually build that CV for yourself so that you stand out. Like she said, there's so many different institutions in South Africa, like lots of them, and to just take 10 from each university may not be practical, but also it's a question of going back. Are you doing your homework? Are you doing your part? Because I think life from here onwards is really up to you to take the initiative and work hard. And also just to answer your other question, I don't know if the panel would like to add on. The best thing that I always say, I stalk people on LinkedIn, and that's literally the best place to start. That's literally the best place to start when you're looking for a company. I don't know if have you searched the company's managing director on LinkedIn? There's usually like an email or like different people, even if it's not maybe the managing director, but you can get someone from HR or someone from that company who works there, and you can try maybe get their email address directly from LinkedIn.
So just to add into what you said, Harambee is quite a big institution that looks at predominantly sourcing talent within youth and partnering them with employers as well. So Harambee is definitely something that you need to consider.
and maybe just have a look at their website and upload your CV there to see that if they can actually help you with partnering with a corporate in South Africa who would be able to assist you in terms of maybe an interview. But it all depends on the nature of the role, what your qualifications are. So it's not a one-fit situation. So Harambee is definitely a youth partner that actually looks at creating employment in South Africa as well.
Are you happy with the response? I don't know if I should take any other questions or one more. Yeah, I think you guys are going to need to help me pick the guy who's standing. The initiative of standing.
Hello. My question is directed to Madam CEO over there. Sorry. Based on your own life experiences, what advice would you give to the youth looking up to you as a role model and aspire to reach heights as high as yours one day?
You deserve a voucher.
Type shit.
And I think it's just... I think it's been said here over and over again that it's actually just all about you. It really, really is. And I think we've always said over here, nothing replaces hard work. I absolutely believe that as well. And it really is about whatever you're doing, do it to the very, very best that you can. You do things over and above the things that are required of you. Volunteer to help in different places and do different things, even in the organization. Even if you don't think you're going to be recognized for it somewhere, it will help your knowledge, it will help your skill, and somebody will see you. So I always say, don't expect the world to come out and help, and give favors to you. You go out and show the world what you're made of and what you can do for the world and for organizations.
And my last question is directed to the whole panel now. Besides obviously good grades, what character traits do companies look for in candidates? Besides obviously good grades now, what characteristics do companies look for in candidates?
So I think, going forward, 80% of your lives, your future lives, you're going to spend at work. That's a big one. One of the biggest things you can do is to choose a career path that has passion in it, your passion. So waking up in the morning and going to a job, or is it going to your job purpose? It should be your job purpose, or your life purpose. So whatever you have that you're passionate about needs to be integrated into the role that you're doing in an organization, or even in any sphere of your life that derives an income. So companies definitely look for qualifications, they look for a human-centric approach, and they look for passion.
Thank you. Sorry, you can talk.
To sort of amplify what Prithi said, so be intentional about what you're doing. If you're just going to work and fulfilling tasks without intent, corporate South Africa sees that. And the second thing is, and I think we've spoken about it throughout the morning, but you cast a shadow, and your shadow touches people, it touches the organization, it touches community, and I think we all need to reflect on what is called the leadership shadow. What impact is your shadow having? And I think that's just something we need to remember. I mean, we spoke about it in the social media context. Yes, that's what you put out there, but all of us cast a shadow, and what is the impact that shadow is having? And when you go and walk in a corporate environment, that corporate environment wants a place that's energized, a place that's got purpose, a place that's got value, a place of harmony, a place that aligns from a culture point of view. And how does your shadow integrate into that environment? So those are just things to think about. Thanks.
If I can just add, sorry.
We might need to close soon, but you can quickly, in
cool.
closing, yeah.
Cool. I also think it's your attitude, right? And also, when we get into the workplace, right, as students, and we see systems being in place, you as an individual, you can try to be innovative and say, I think this could also work in the best way if I try to implement this, because we are actually the drivers of our careers and within the organization. Thank you.
Last words.
Be a positive contributor, problem solver. We all can problem solve. Don't underestimate yourself. So don't be that individual in the organization that chooses to complain about everything but do nothing about it. So you see a problem, present it, communicate it, but present a solution with that. It's very important because then you contribute to the positive culture for yourself and the organization.
Last words from our CEO.
Be a shining light to others and be a role model in your community with excellent values.
Last words. Do you have any closing words? In a sentence, quickly.
Productivity per day accumulates just one day at a time, and it'll just amount to something that's going to be phenomenal.
Sure. That's. Can we have a round of applause for that? And just before I announce the very big announcement, which will close off today, I think in closing, I just want to say thank you so much for being here with us, taking the initiative of actually saying, I'm going to wake up and come here. A round of applause for yourself. And it's just a reminder that you are you, and that is your greatest superpower. And the homework today is, how am I building? What CV am I writing? From today onwards, how am I different from the next person, and how are you intentionally, taking charge of your life, so that's my homework to you today. So before I announce, can we have a drum roll? Go, 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 go. I like how you guys have energy. So we've listened to everything that you guys have been saying, the questions and just the responses you've been sending to us, and we are happy to announce, All4YOUthSSA is happy to announce that with regards to job shadowing, we are opening a program which is called All Access Passport to Success. Remember the hashtag? I hope you guys have been using, because I'm going to check who's been posting the most to get vouchers. But that program is opening up to 50 learners who will then get the opportunity to basically job shadow one industry leader in the field of your choice. And this is really tailored to you and what you want to gain out of that experience. What is, again, the end goal. So when you start the program, should you be given the opportunity, just, map out what is it that you want to learn from that experience and make the most of that opportunity. I'd like to say thank you. I think on behalf of you guys, just thank you to All4YOUthSSA. This is such an amazing platform and an opportunity. I'm really, round of applause. Big round of applause. I think this is such an amazing opportunity for young people in varsity, to really get to see what the work experience really looks like and bridge that gap, and also make sure that they're fully prepared and that they're intentionally building their CVs. All information is going to be on their social media platforms, so I'd expect all of you to be following them on their social media platforms so that you can see more about what the program is all about and how you can apply, etc. Who has connected with either of them on LinkedIn so far? Guys. But granted, I'll give you guys grace because we didn't have the conversation about being intentional, right? So now, from here onwards, open up your LinkedIn, connect with each and every speaker that spoke today. See how, if you have any further questions, maybe you can pop them a LinkedIn connection and DM them there. Maybe you guys can get responses. Even so, like with people that you'd like them to mentor you or whatever, reach out, take the initiative of actually just start. Whether or not they respond, but the best thing that can happen is them responding and you actually accessing and unlocking all those opportunities. So thank you so much. Am I missing that? Oh, thank you to my online family. Thank you so much for being with us throughout. We tend to forget you, but we didn't forget you. People who have promised vouchers, please come to me or come to one of the people who are standing there to just get your voucher from us. Thank you so much for engaging with us today. I think it has been really, really beautiful. In closing, I always close with this quote. I live by this quote that says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We often ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, successful, talented? But my question to each and every one of you today is, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world in any way. So go out there, reach out after your dreams and everything that you have in your heart with all you have. Thank you.
Thank you.
So beautiful. Thanks, everyone. Very done. Thank you.
Did I cover everything?
Yes, I want. Thanks for your mind.